welcome to our summer prayer focus. This is the last in our series relating to the gardens around the church, and I've left it till the end because we often think of children over the summer when they're on their big long holiday. And so it's the children's garden, and we think about the way our own children at Ebenezer have become involved in growing beans and peas and learning lots about putting plants in and how seeds grow and how you need to stay with them and work with them. And it's not just a case of put them in the ground and they'll just do their own thing. They often need a lot of help, nurture, staking up, making sure they're being cared for and watered. And so I feel that the children have learned quite a bit about gardening over the last, say, 18 months. And so I looked at the verse, Matthew 19, verse 14, and it says, "Let the little children come unto me, and do not hinder them, do not stop them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such of these." And this is when Jesus was rebuking the disciples from trying to stop the children coming to them, as if they didn't have a right, as if they weren't important enough. And so Jesus is saying, these children are really important. I want them to learn about me. I want them to be able to come to me. And so we as a church should be praying for children, not only our own in our own church, but around the world, around the neighbourhoods that we live in. And so for the summer months, July and August, that is what I felt we should be doing. And so July the 4th, I looked at the Sermon on the Mount. Accept and encourage all children to come to Christ. Pray for our own church children and teenagers. Pray for their continuing attendance, their continuing faith journey, and that some will ask to be baptised in the months that come along. And then the following week, pray for children who are victims of war. We've thought quite a lot about the Ukraine and the children who've lost fathers, the Russian children. They're all children. It doesn't matter which side they're on. And there's many wars and struggles, and people lose family, and it's really very traumatic for the children of those situations. And then the following week, I looked at Esther, July the 18th, Esther rising to the challenge. I don't think becoming a concubine to the king was on her bucket list. And there's children here who are moving schools, leaving school, going to college, or leaving school and getting an apprenticeship, or whatever it is they want to take their life's journey in. And we should be praying for those children. As a church, we actually have 4 children moving up from the youth into secondary school. It's often a challenge. It means they sometimes drop off because they face different issues amongst a new peer group. We also have other children who are teenagers and leaving school, and we need to think about them. July the 25th, I looked at the story of Joseph and how he was sold into slavery as a young lad. And we get children who need praying for from abusive families, children who are abducted, children who are orphaned, children who are young carers, some children just abandoned and end up in care, and they don't even know anything about their own family. Children involved in sex trafficking, child marriages and prostitution. I would imagine that Googling some facts and figures around this might help you pray during that week. August the 1st, children from our church or your church, whoever is watching this, who've been to camp, the MCYC camp or other church-based camps that are around the country. Pray they will listen and grow in their faith, building on what has been taught in the church itself, and not be distracted by the world. Pray that they will come through and really be strong Christians for the Lord. August the 8th, I looked at Daniel and his friends, also taken from their homeland and dumped in a palace, obviously rich young men, as they were treated in a different way maybe to some others, and they were going to be educated, but they were trying to be forced to follow other gods, and they stood true, and they refused the food. They refused to eat the food that came, which I'm sure smelt delicious and would have been something they probably would have enjoyed as food. But no, they chose to not eat the food that could have been sacrificed to other gods. In other words, they wanted to remain true and stayed really as vegetarians throughout that. And God blessed them in many ways and used them. So I want you to pray for our children who are actually being indoctrinated against the truth of the Bible in schools, in the world, how the new norm is actually quite alien to what we feel and believe as Christians. around gender issues, around the truth of who God made us to be, male and female, made to be like him in his image. And that's quite a radical statement now, and I can't believe I'm saying that. So years ago, I would not have believed I would be saying that it's radical, but unfortunately today it is. So we need to pray very much for our own young children and for children to be able to discern the truth as they hear radical groups talking about things that are not normal for us as the way God has made us. August the 15th, mission and service. Pray for our older young people as they begin to serve the Lord in our churches or in other ways. They may go to camps or help as a beach mission, or so they need help and encouragement, and you need to listen to them when they come back and they tell you all about it. Pray for some of them who are musical, that they'll start to feel they want to help with the music, the tech, maybe printing things out, helping in our own Sunday schools, jam clubs, etc. So pray for them. August the 22nd, Samuel, a child born who was prayed for, who was dedicated back to the Lord and worked for the Lord and delivered messages for God. And he was a child of a woman who obviously wouldn't want to really give him up. She'd prayed and prayed for a child, and so then she had to give him back, but God blessed her as a result of that, and she had more children to love and to nurture. But she still loved Samuel, obviously, as she visited him in the best way she could each year. So what I want us to do this week is pray for our own children in our own family. It's not a case of, well, they're not my responsibility. Pray for any children in your family that they will come through. Pray for children in your family whose parents actually aren't Christians. Pray that you will be able to be an influence for them. Pray that you'll be able to get them to things like camp or youth activities or a special event. Keep praying that they will be saved, that they will be safe, and that they will have a good life, and that you'll be able to be there for them. Pray for that relationship. And finally, August the 29th, pray for the children in your neighbourhood. Pray for the children in the road that you pray for. If you have a road, pray for your own road. Pray for those children who really annoy you in the road. Try and find some way of caring about them. Look for something good in them and pray for those that you already really like. So God has given us this gift of prayer. And I feel that over the summer, as the children are off, as we see them more in shops, out on the street, on holiday, in different places, instead of feeling irritated, oh, all the kids are off and they're annoying me and I can't get my shopping, and stop. These children are really important to God. These children are part of his kingdom, just as we are. And so I challenge you to be very positive and to really pray for the children, for the children around us and for the children right across the world, that they will indeed seek and find the kingdom of God.